This is my first time going live under my Anna Taylor Radio TikTok account. I didn't think I could go live, but I can. So I'm going live. This is my first time. Hello. And I'm also live on my YouTube channel, Anna Taylor Radio channel on YouTube. This episode that I'm recording, that I'm doing today, is coping after a breakup. We got a lot to discuss. So, just real quick, you can find me, Anna Taylor Radio, on any major podcast platform. Just type in Anna Taylor Radio. Or you can go to anchor.fm/Anna Taylor Radio now and listen there. You can watch the podcast on my YouTube channel at Anna Taylor Radio channel. Please go find, follow, like the Anna Taylor Radio Facebook page. I also have an Instagram. That one I think is at Anna Taylor Radio now. Either at Anna Taylor Radio or add a now to it, and it should pull up. And any questions, comments, concerns, want to be a guest on my show, or have any ideas on any topics you want me to discuss or talk about, just email me at annataylorradio@gmail.com. This episode is part of a series through Project Storm. That's Project, a space, #Storm, Project Storm, which is a organization movement that I'm the founder of. I founded it in 2017. So if you wouldn't mind also finding on TikTok, Project Storm. It's at, and then Project Storm now. @ Project Storm now should pull up the TikTok account. It's also on Facebook. It's Project in a space #Storm, Project Storm. We also have a support group as well if anyone needs support. Basically, what Project Storm is support, advocacy, and activism. This is to bring justice and to help any and all victims of any and all forms of abuse, whether it be family court abuse, domestic violence, child abuse, elder abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse, and assaults, any kind of abuse through the prison system, just any kind of injustice or inequality, any injustice, racial injustice. We're a safe space for the LGBTQ plus community. We're allies. Love is love. And that's that. So basically, we fight for what's right. We use activism as well, like protesting or legislation or, whatever we got to do to make this world a better place and help people, victims. So this is about relationships. A divorce. So basically, coping after a breakup. We're going to talk about a divorce versus a breakup, and also a trauma bond versus a breakup. So starting with the divorce versus a breakup. With a divorce, there's a lot more to it. Okay, a breakup. Okay, sure, you might be together 7, 8, 9, 10 plus years and never get married, which why not? But there's relationships out there that your boyfriend, girlfriend for like ever. But the thing is versus a divorce, when you're married, okay, there's a lot that entails with that. I mean, you were legally bound. There's assets involved. And even with a breakup or a divorce, sometimes children are involved. But with a divorce through a marriage, it's kind of different. There's alimony that could be paid out, or just different assets and things like that. So sometimes it's much harder to get a divorce than just break up from a boyfriend or girlfriend that you have no legal ties to at all. And with divorce, you have to wait on the paperwork. You have to wait on the other person to sign the paperwork if they ever do. And if they don't, you got to go to court and pretty much sue them to sign the paperwork. And it's just a whole rigmarole versus just a regular breakup. So, but I'm talking about regular boyfriend, girlfriend breakups today. However long you've been together. I know it gets more detailed and harder the longer that you've been together. Understandable. But it is easier than getting a divorce. A trauma bond versus a breakup. Okay, well, first of all, what's a trauma bond? A trauma bond basically is a psychological response to abuse that involves forming a very strong emotional attachment and addiction to the abuser and the cycle of abuse. Trauma bonds are very, very hard to get over. Okay, getting over a breakup is even a divorce is much easier than getting over a trauma bond. Okay, with a breakup, we'll just say a regular breakup, statistically, scientifically, biologically, psychologically, it takes at least up to a year for someone to get over their ex. So these anybody who's been through a breakup and then you jump into a relationship like 6 months later, I mean, it's very rare that it actually works out and keeps going for the long term, or you get married and your soulmates, whatever. I mean, it happens, but typically, most likely, in the majority of the time, they don't work out. Those are called rebounds. So I would highly suggest that if you break up with someone, wait at least a year before jumping into anything. That even includes one night stands, fuck buddies, uh, straight up, just you know, um, it's just not healthy for you. There's a lot to learn out of each relationship and each breakup. And also, there's a saying, people come into your life for a season, a reason, or lesson, or in a lifetime. So sometimes people come and go for as a season, you know, or they might be there for a reason, for a lesson to be learned, or they're there for a lifetime. It could be a lifelong marriage, or best friend, or lifelong friends and pals and buddies. Just all depends. But with a trauma bond, it's extremely hard to break the cycle of the trauma bond. I mean, it is seriously like an addiction to the abuser and the person, the cycle of abuse. So, like, with a regular breakup, you can be better off in a month or two. Maybe not over it entirely. Like I said, it takes up to a year to at least get over the relationship and your ex, but you're better off at least in a month or two. With a trauma bond, mm-mm. No, you could be 6, 7, 8, 9, a whole year in and still be ruminating and obsessing over the thought of them and missing them so much, and you just go crazy. I mean, you can go really psychotic and go into psychosis. I mean, like, it's bad. It's really, really bad. But I am going to go over the cycle of the trauma bonds, cycle of the breakup, the different stages of the breakup, different stages of a trauma bond. And also, because breaking up, also you can have feelings that are uh, close to or similar to the grief cycle and the stages of grief when somebody dies. Or if you're grieving over somebody who's alive, like parental alienation. Me, I'm an alienated parent. I'm grieving over my children who are being kept from me. So I'm grieving over people, who are alive. Um, it just all depends on and varies on the different situations. But feelings, excuse me, with breaking up. So the feelings that you have when you break up, like I said, feelings are similar to the grief cycle or stages of grief. The stages of grief is well, there's actually 7 of them, 7 stages of grief, and then there's actually 5 stages of a breakup. Um, and the stages of grief for the grief cycle is shock, then denial, then anger, then bargaining, then depression, then testing. And testing meaning you're trying to find ways to cope, or you slip in and out of the different stages. So you might, just come out of the depression phase, and now you're trying to find ways to cope, but then you slip right back into denial or right back into the anger stage. And then this last one, the 7th one, is acceptance. You make peace with it. This is grief. This is loss. This is somebody dies, or you're grieving over somebody who's alive. So acceptance, meaning you found peace. You're It's like it's still hard. The wound is still there. Your heart's still broken, but you can move on and forward with your life now. You can make peace about the situation and about the person not being in your life anymore. Now, as far as the 7 stages of grief versus the 5 stages of a breakup, I said there was only 5 stages versus 7 with the grief. The two that are not included, or the two stages that are not included with the stages of breakup, is number one, which is shock, and then number six, which is testing, trying to find ways to cope, or slipping in and out of denial or anger or depression and bargaining and things like that. And usually, typically, like one through seven, the stages of grief and the stages of breakup typically go in order, but they can go out of order. Like, you know, you can go into shock and then be depressed about it, and then go in denial, and then anger, and then, like you can go flip flop. It can happen, but typically it goes in order. You first in shock, then you're in denial, then you go into the next stage, which is anger, then into bargaining. Bargaining is basically, what if I would have done this better or that better? Trying to think of ways to bring them back from the dead, or bring them back into your life, or I could have done this better or that, but what if I only do this and only do that? You know, and then the next one is depression. Everyone pretty much knows what depression is. And then the next one you would slip into would be the testing, trying to find ways to cope, and you can slip in and out. And then the acceptance is the final one. But like I said, you usually go in order, but sometimes they don't. And then with the stages of breakup, is the first one is denial about the breakup. Second one is anger. The third one is bargaining. Well, if I do this, maybe we can be better. If we go to counseling, maybe, our relationship would be better, and we can get back together. And you know, or what if I sell the house and move in with you, or you sell your house and move in with me? Or what if I do this, and what if I, get a better job and do this or that? I mean, maybe you want me back then, or, just bargaining, trying to bargain for the relationship. So one is denial, two is anger, three is the bargaining, four is depression, and the last one is five, acceptance. That's acceptance that it's over with. You can finally move on. You made a peace about it. Like I said, it takes up to at least a year to get over your ex and the relationship. That would be the acceptance stage. Now, with the trauma bond, okay, now trauma bonds are only in situations where there is abuse, an abusive person, an abuse cycle, or a cycle of abuse, domestic violence, even child abuse. Children can be trauma bonded to their abuser, to their parent, or custodial, or whoever is abusing them. Foster parent could be anybody, but whoever is their guardian, I guess, at the time, whoever's abusing them. It's kind of like Stockholm syndrome. If you don't know what it is, look it up. But it's about the same thing, except the trauma bond. It's like it makes it much harder to actually leave, and it makes it harder, even like if the other person, the abuser, leaves you, or leaves the relationship. Let's say they're a narcissist, or even not, just someone, they found a new supply, they found someone they like better or love better, or they fell in love with somebody else, or you're just not it anymore and they just leave you. Like I said earlier, like, it's psychological, just craziness. You're just like, no, and it's just really, really bad. So that has trauma bond also has stages as well, in a cycle. So the 7 stages of trauma bond is love bombing, which, by the way, I have other episodes on my podcast, Anna Taylor Radio. You go to my podcast, I talk about love bombing. I talk about all this stuff. So look up self-love, look up the 7 uh, types of love, the 5 love languages, to find your love language and everything. So if you're kind of confused on, well, what's that? Go to my episodes. I have episodes about this stuff, about boundaries. I actually have a 10 episode series called The Love Project, and I talk about making boundaries, talk about trauma bonds, I talk about uh, relationships and breakups and all this stuff. So, it just go there for reference. But so the number one stage of trauma bond is love bombing. 2 is gaining trust and dependency. 3 is criticism. 4 is gaslighting. 5 is resignation, and accepting the abuse, pretty much. 6 is loss of self, and 7 is emotional addiction. So let's go back. So I'll quickly go over. So love bombing is basically when somebody, and this is only an abusive relationship, not a healthy one, okay, or even a toxic one at that. These are abusive relationships. Love bombing. They put you up on a pedestal. I mean, they're everything that you thought they could be. Too good to be true. They bow. I mean, they worship you at your feet. I love you. They give you flowers every day and just love bomb the hell out of you and just I love you. I love you. You're so great. You're so beautiful. You're so wonderful. Da, 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 da. They do everything for you. And then all of a sudden, it kind of slows down. And before you know it, it just stops. So once the love bombing stops, or during the love bombing, rather, number 2 stage is gaining trust and dependency. They're gaining your trust because they love you so much. So you can trust me, baby. You can trust me with anything. I'm going to be there for you all my life. Oh, we're going to get married and I love you forever. You're my soulmate and da 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 da. You know, they gain your trust. And then through that trust, you become dependent upon this person, right? Kind of codependent because you can trust them. You can trust that you can fall down and they'll pick you up, right? Well, then once the love bombing ends and they have your trust and made you dependent on them, now here comes stage number 3, the criticism. This could be verbal, emotional, mental, psychological abuse. Oh, you are a piece of shit. You suck. You're so ugly. I don't like you anymore. I'll never love you, or you'll never find anybody like me to love, or you're this or that, just belittling, putting you down, treating you like shit, like you're trash, like you shouldn't even breathe, pretty much making you feel lesser than, making you feel like not, disrespecting you and, maybe even starting to cheat on you or make you feel like you're just not good enough for them or for anybody. Whatever, no matter what you do, you can't satisfy them. Then comes the gaslighting. So once they start the criticism and all this bullshit, you know, they're all belittling and criticizing you for everything you do and stuff. Then it's like stop it. You just said this and now you're saying that. What do you? And it's like driving you crazy. And you're just like, why are you doing this to me? The gaslighting hits. What are you talking about, huh? What did I do? What did I say? What did I do? I didn't do anything. I never said that. When did I say that? You're lying. And they want to turn it around on you like you're the bad guy now. But you said, and they want to take focus off of their shit. Well, you said this and that a week or so ago or a year ago. We're not talking about what I said a year ago. We're talking about what you just did to me a few fucking days ago or a week ago or have been doing nonstop. Like, can we focus on the problem at hand? No, they want to switch it around, you know. Oh well, they don't want to take responsibility or take, any account be accountable for their actions. And the gaslighting is, it basically alters your reality. I didn't say that. No, remember when you said this? You said this. Well, you have short term memory loss, or you're mentally ill, so making you non credible, like you're not credible. So you say this stuff all the time. You forget stuff all the time. No way, I didn't say that. That's the gaslighting part. Then number 5 stage is the resignation, which is basically accepting the abuse as normal and you give up trying to change it. So basically, you're just like, this is just how it is. They beat the hell out of me every day, or they cheat on me, or belittle me, put me down, or fuck with my head, or steal money out of my wallet, my heart. They might not have a job and you do, and they take your money, or vice versa. They might have a job and make you stay home. And then when you need something, you need pads or some feminine products, or if you're a man, if you need some men soap or hair dye or anything, or some food or whatever, they say no. Well, you wanted me to stay home, whether with the kids or you wanted me to not work, and you made all the bread, so I need money to get what I need. I need gas in my car to go to appointments or to go see my mom or brother or sister or friend or what, or just go somewhere. No, no. So it's like accepting the abuse. Well, I guess this is just how it is. Okay, well, I guess it is my fault. That's part of the psychological mental abuse, you know? I guess it is my fault. I deserve it. Yeah, I guess so. And you give up trying to change it, you know, instead of fighting against something like, because of all the gaslighting and the, no, I didn't do it, you know, making your head all jumbled and crazy and forgetting stuff and being like, you just give in. You're like, you know what? I'm done bitching about it. I feel like I'm being a nagging nanny. Yeah, I nag about it. All you know, you nag all the time. They say, well, yeah, because you keep fucking up all the time. You know, if you just listened the first fucking time, we wouldn't have a damn problem, right? But no, I got to nag and bitch every fucking day. I got to beg for your love and attention. And beg for you to just look at me or hold my hand or give me a kiss, or you know, I'm starving for affection and love, and you're just like starving me of it and rejecting me. I have to beg for everything from you. Which in a healthy relationship you should never have to beg for anything. They should just automatically give it to you, period. But you know, you stop trying to change it. That's the recognition. I give up. Well, fine. They watch porn all the freaking time. Screw it. I can't do nothing about it. I went through their phone. I've bitched about it. I've deleted all their shit. You know, I've tried to do this and that to make them stop doing it, but they still watch it anyway. Screw it. I just let fuck it. I give up. I give up. So that's pretty much resignation. And then the stage 6 is loss of self. So through all the gaslighting, the belittling, the mental, psychological, and emotional abuse, and verbal abuse, and traumas, and even physical abuse, even financial abuse, sexual abuse, even and assaults, all and just through all the abuse, you don't know who you are anymore. You've lost yourself. You don't even know. You're like, who am I anymore? I used to, you know, you used to be the strong. This goes for both men and women, by the way. Okay, men can be victims too of abuse. So, just saying. Um, but you know, you're like, I used to be strong. I used to be, you know, empowered. I used to have a job and make good money. I had benefits. I used to go out with my friends all the time. I used to do this and that, and I was an artist, and I used to sell that, you know, and I used to go places. I used to go camping and out in nature. I used to have fun. I used to laugh all the time. I used to be funny myself. I used to tell a good joke once in a while. I used to cook meals. I used to do this. I used to do that. I used to hang out with my favorite grandma. I used to hang out with my favorite friend, or my I used to go to the pound and go pet the puppies all the time and do things that I love to do. And now I don't do anything. I have no life outside of this. God forbid I do anything that I used to do. He or she gets angry with me, and you know, you know, I might get beat up for it, or I'm, you know, there might be some repercussions or punishment for it. But I don't know who I am anymore. I don't laugh anymore. I'm always crying now. I'm always depressed. I don't go anywhere anymore. I don't see anybody or hang out with anybody anymore. I don't even watch the movies that I like anymore. It's just I don't. Who am I? Who am I? It's like an etch a sketch. You have your beautiful little drawing. It's who you are, and then you shake it. All that abuse, all that bullshit, all that toxicity and poison. You shake that etch a sketch, and then it goes blank and clear. Nothing. What am I now? So then the last stage of the trauma bond is the emotional addiction. So this is where basically you have an emotional addiction to the cycle of abuse and your abuser, which makes it hard to leave or to cope with the breakup and getting over it. Like I said, so once you leave, or if you leave, that's the thing. That's the problem. Most people don't leave. Most victims don't leave. Okay, that's what makes it hard to leave. So either they don't leave and they wait until the abuser leaves, whether they're narcissistic and find a new supply, or they cheat or fall in love with somebody else, or just leaves the relationship for whatever reason. Shit, they could go leave because they want, you know, not have anybody else, whatever, you know, but they wait until there's a breakup, separation, when the person leaves them, you know, and then you feel rejected, you feel abandoned, you feel all this psychological. I mean, you go in psychosis, you just feel crazy and you're just ruminating. It's just nonstop obsessive thoughts, obsessive feelings. You cannot stop or get over it. You can't think anything about them like you don't eat or you eat too much. You might start smoking or smoke too much. You might start drugs and alcohol, and then you cause another addiction, like, or you might already be addicted to a substance or alcohol or drugs or something like that and make the addiction worse, you know? Um, it's just really bad. And it's just not like your ordinary breakup. It's, you could really be a year or more into it and still crying as if it happened like an hour ago or yesterday. So it's not like your average breakup. It's a very toxic, poisonous thing, and a very, very poisonous codependency. It's not your regular codependent thing either. Now, how do you break a trauma bond? Well, first, you acknowledge and understand it. Acknowledge, I'm going through a trauma bond. This is a trauma bond, and you understand it. Research, look up YouTube videos. Dr. Ramani, you know, just research it. Look up what a trauma bond is and understand what it is and be like, okay, I'm in a trauma bond. This is what's going on. Get on top of your shit and realize, okay, this is what is going on. This is the situation at hand. And then, second thing is you can seek professional help or therapy. With a trauma bond, you need therapy. Not just talking to someone helps, but you need a professional. Yeah, most times, yes. Three is to establish boundaries both for you and them. So establish boundaries for yourself. Like, I'm not going to start doing drugs. I want to do drugs. I want to drink, but I'm not going to because I'm afraid that it might lead to an addiction. Or you already drink or do drugs and you need to set a boundary. Okay, well, I'm only going to do so much and then put it down, or I'm not going to do it today, or I'm not going to make this a daily habit, um so it doesn't turn into a deeper, harder addiction or whatever. Those are just examples. Or boundaries for yourself could be, I'm going to not accept his or her phone call if she calls. I'm gonna delete their phone number and block their phone number. And if they call me from another number, I'm not going to pick up. I'm going to go no contact. That's it. No more. That's it. Make that boundary for yourself and stick to it too. Not just making a boundary, but stick to it also. Okay, and then you make boundaries for them too. You know, if they try to call you, don't answer. If they try to come back, don't answer. Tell them, or if you do talk to them, say no. We're over with. No matter how much it hurts. That's the thing with trauma bond. It's so easy to take them back. You got to understand. Let the trash take, or the trash took itself out. If they leave you, the trash took itself out. You know, straight up, and just make a boundary, being like, no, I'm not taking you back. You did this, this, and this to me, and I never deserve that, and I'm not going to continue with that. There's all kinds of boundaries. You can look them up on the internet, different types of boundaries, or just make your own, but for them and for you. Four is to practice self-care. Um, Self-care, bubble baths or showers, uh, wearing some clean clothes, getting out of bed, listening to music, or just taking care of yourself, putting on some makeup to feel better, doing your hair, brushing your hair, getting a fresh haircut, or cleaning your ears out, or anything that takes care of you. Buy some new clothes, or uh, buy yourself flowers. Why not? Um, Number five, how to break a trauma bond, is to build a support system. I'm going to go over some coping skills in just a few minutes, which this will be part of building a support system, so I'll probably repeat it. But building a support system, like, go online to Facebook. They have tons of support groups. I'm in like hundreds of support groups, by the way, like, no joke. Okay, they have support groups for this, for that, for this, for that, for everything. Just type in, breakup or trauma bond or narcissistic abuse or domestic violence or whatever. Just breakup. Like I said, this is just about a breakup, but we're going to go over the trauma bonds too, like the difference between a divorce and a breakup and a trauma bond and a breakup. But we're talking about trauma bonds at the moment. But build a support system. So go online and find support groups to be part of. And network, find some online friends, even if you don't know them, someone to chat with. Build a support system. You could maybe you go to church and maybe be part of a women's or a men's group, or make some new friends, or get your closest friends, or reconnect with your closest friends if you've isolated and left, whatever the case may be with the abuse. Like, they usually isolate you from your friends and family. Reconnect with people, tell them what's going on, and be like, look, can I call you when I need you? Like, you don't have to call in the middle of the night, but within reasonable hours, and talk to somebody. Build your support system. The next is to challenge negative thoughts, meaning anytime any negative thoughts come into your head, replace them with positive ones. And when I say challenge negative thoughts, this also means practicing. Okay. You practice replacing those thoughts with positive ones. Like, oh, well, I'm not good enough for him or her. Uh, they left me because I'm just so stupid and ugly, or I'm this and I'm that. I'm too fat for them. They're dating somebody hot now and more beautiful than me, and they got this and they got that, and I'm just not good enough, and I feel unworthy, and I don't make enough money. And replace those with positive thinking and positive thoughts, even if you don't believe it at first, even if you don't think it's true, say it anyway. Okay, this is part of which I'm going to get into in just a few moments, with coping skills and mantras, saying mantras for self-care and taking care of yourself. So, like, you know, I'm not good enough. Replace it with I am good enough. I feel unworthy. I am worthy. I am worth it. I deserve better. I deserve what's good and what's best. I don't make enough money. Well, I make enough money to get by, and if I don't, well, there's always opportunity or ways I can make more money. I'm too ugly. I'm too fat. I'm beautiful. I'm gorgeous. I'm beautiful just the way that I am. Um, well, they don't love me because I'm not good enough for them. Well, they're not king of the forest. They're not God. Who are they? They're just a person who hurt me. So obviously, they're not really that great of a person anyway. So why should I be good enough for them? I should be good enough for me. So replace it with positive thoughts. Um, so 7, this is how to break a trauma bond. Focus on the present. Focus on what is in front of you right now. Okay. Um, so yeah, the present times might be you're going through a breakup, going through a trauma bond, but focus on the present. So meaning, do you have a job you have to go to tomorrow? Well, focus on, maybe taking a bath or shower. That's self-care, laying your clothes out and get them ready for tomorrow for your work or for your job, and being ready to leave on time, and setting your alarm clock and stuff like that. Or if you got to pay bills, write down a to-do or task list of things you got to do, and follow through with them. And life goes on after a breakup or after a divorce or after a trauma bond. Life still happens. Still got to pay the bills, still got to work, still got to take care of kids if you got them, still got to take care of yourself, still got to there's life keeps going. You got to go grocery shopping, get food, whatever, you got to eat, go to the bathroom, and all that stuff. So life goes on. So focus on what's in the present. um 8 is practicing self-compassion. Now, self-care versus self-compassion. Self-care is taking care of yourself, taking baths, getting out of bed, wearing some nice clean clothes, brushing your hair, taking care of yourself. Self-compassion, though, is basically being kind to yourself, giving yourself the space to grieve, to cry, to feel what it is that you feel, giving you grace and mercy and forgiveness for anything. Um, it holds that safe space for you, and just being kind to yourself. Sorry, interruptions. Anyway, you hold that space for yourself to be kind to yourself. Okay, that's self compassion. The next stage of how to break a trauma bond is to develop healthy relationships. Okay, not when I said rebounds earlier. No, don't do rebounds. That's not a healthy relationship. Either create a new friendship that's a healthy one, or reconnect with someone who's a healthy person in your life, sibling, family member, a friend, coworker, anybody that's safe and healthy for you. Um, or online support groups. Find some new friends online. Uh, if that's all you got too, sometimes some people ain't got people in their life. And because they isolated so much that they are alone, sometimes online is all you got. But develop a healthy relationship um, with people. And then when it comes time, when whether trauma bond, divorce, or regular breakup, when you are healed, when you've learned the lessons that you needed to learn from the last relationship, you know, when you've grown more, spiritually grown, emotionally grown, and you've healed and you are ready to take that next step. Okay. And it's been some time. Like I said, for just a regular breakup, it takes at least a year. I know it's a long time, but it takes at least a year to get over your last relationship with your ex. For trauma bond, it could be longer. So this might be like 2, 3, 4, or longer years down the freaking road when you're ready and when you're healed enough to get into another relationship. Period. And the thing is don't be like, getting to hopping into another relationship or relationship after relationship after relationship. Because here's the thing: what if you get in a relationship with someone who's looking for somebody, a healthy partner, a healed partner? You don't have to be perfect, but it's not fair if you're unhealed to that person that you're getting in a relationship with who wants a healthy relationship. I know you want a healthy relationship, yeah, and you're found a healthy person to be in a relationship with, but you're not fully completely healed, which thus that's not fair to that person that you're not completely healed yet. Heal yourself and make for damn sure that you are ready to take the next step to be in another relationship. Otherwise, you are at risk for creating another toxic, abusive, or bad relationship, or a relationship that won't last, or a future divorce. Like, make sure you're healed no matter how long it takes. And it sucks. You're going to feel lonely. You're going to feel alone. And you're going to have those moments. Okay. But use coping skills to push through. I'm going to go over coping skills in just a few moments. And then the last one on how to break a trauma bond, the stage 10 is, excuse me, make a plan for your future, not including your abuser or the abuse. So, like number 7 was focus on the present. Hey, bills still got to be paid, still got a job to go to, you still got things to do. If you have kids, there's still kids to take care of. There's still life goes on. Okay, so focus on the present, but also, you know, come time, make a plan for your future that does not involve your ex, does not involve your abuser. Trauma bond, let me remind y'all, trauma bonds are when there's abuse involved in a relationship, not a regular breakup, okay? So we're talking on trauma bonds at the moment, and then we're going to move on to regular breakups. That's the whole point of this episode, is just regular breakups. I'm just showing the difference between the different categories, different spaces of divorce, breakup versus trauma bond, which involves abuse or an abuser, domestic violence, child abuse, whatever. So just to reiterate that. So, make a plan for your future, not involving the abuse or the cycle of abuse and your abuser. Um, Go no contact with them. If you have children with them, instead of co-parenting, well, request during your custody hearings that you have a third party to exchange the kids between. If you don't feel safe around that person. So have a person who can bring the kids to the meeting location for the father or mother, to drop them off with the father or mother for their visitation time or their time with the kids, and then they pick, have a third person, pretty much. You can do that. That's if kids are involved. That way you don't have to be involved with, that's making a future plan. You're setting up yourself for custody hearings, and you got to go for custody. By the way, go back to my Anna Taylor radio episodes. I talk about custody too, and go to Project Storm. I've already mentioned earlier in the video, which if you want to go back, and whenever this is this particular episode is published, listen to the beginning where I say find Project Storm. This will definitely be under the Project Storm YouTube page, TikTok, and Facebook page, and also the support group we have on Facebook. But yeah, as far as like custody goes and custody battles, custody hearings, you're planning for a hearing, planning on custody and stuff like that, plan it without the abuser in your life. You don't have to, maybe you have to technically co-parent, but you can use a third party. Um, or if no kids are involved, whatever, kids or no kids, make plan. I'm go on a cruise or something like that without them involved. Go start going to church or some kind of activities or music festivals or uh, camping or whatever that does not involve them and does not involve any kind of abuse. So, um, yeah, so those are the stages of, we went over divorce versus regular breakup and trauma bonds versus a breakup. We also went through the stages of a breakup, which are 5 stages, versus the 7 stages of, because it could feel like grief, loss of, through death or grieving over somebody who's alive. The 7 stages of grief, cycle of grief, versus the 5 stages of just a breakup. And we also went through the 7 stages of trauma bond and also the 10 ways or stages to how to break the trauma bond. So moving on, I mentioned rebounds earlier. So real quick, I got an itch. Hold on. Sorry. Rebounds are not a good idea. Okay. If you're looking for love and looking for something long lasting or a marriage or, you just want your soulmate, you just want the love of your life, rebounds are not the answer. Okay. They're a short term uh, solution to a long term problem or a long term solution. And typically, you might get out of a relationship, whether toxic, abusive or not, or just a regular breakup or divorce, and think, oh, this is my soulmate. Da, da, da. This might be a better relationship. It might be 6, 7 months. Like I said, it takes up to a year for just a regular breakup to heal from it and get over your ex and the breakup, let alone a trauma bond much longer. So if you're within that stage and you're not healed yet, that's a rebound. You shouldn't be getting into a relationship because it's probably not going to last. It's not. More than likely, it's not. Very, very rare do they actually last. So, which again, just to reference the episodes on Anna Taylor Radio, the Love Project series, I talk about the 7 types of, again, I'm going to mention 7 types of love, the 5 love languages, learn your love language, know what red flags are, what learn how to make boundaries and then stick to them, and learn what boundaries are. I talk all about that on the Love Project and different episodes, self love and all that on Anna Taylor Radio. And you can listen at anchor.fm/Anna Taylor Radio now, or type in Anna Taylor Radio on any major podcast platform, whether Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, whatever. But just to reference, you can go back and listen to those for that. But yeah, rebounds, they just don't work. And I know some people are like, I just need a foot. I just need to fuck. Like, that's all I want. Like I just need something. Well, here's the thing. You might just want to fuck. We're on one night stand or whatever. But the problem is what if you get an STD? Doesn't matter if you're wearing a condom or not. You could still get an STD. There's a chance of pregnancy. Doesn't matter if you have a condom or any other contraceptive. You could still get pregnant. Now, if you're if you're a woman and there's just no chance in fucking hell of you getting pregnant, there's still a chance in hell of you getting an STD. Because really, whether you know the person or not, or even you might have fucked them before the last relationship a long time ago, and now you're reconnecting again and fucking them again. How do you know they haven't contacted an STD since then? And then there's no emotional like no emotional ties. There's no, and I know no strings. I want no strings attached. I'm just trying to, cope and get through. That's not a healthy way to cope. Okay. It's just not. There are healthier ways to cope, which we're about to go over. Rebounds are just not a good idea, period. And that includes porn too. Porn, go down the rabbit hole, research it, especially for men. It's same for women, but mostly for men. It actually messes up your sex drive. Yeah. So it can cause a lot of damage and problems with your sex drive. hmm So like next time you get in a relationship, uh, your sex ain't gonna be all that great. No, sorry. Mm-mm. Maybe at first, but it's gonna dwindle eventually because you're not gonna get turned on by your partner. You're gonna only get turned on by visual images, and these people are fake and not even real and strangers. You don't even know these people anyway, so why even watch it anyway? There's no point. So it's just not healthy and a good idea to do rebounds or even watch porn for that matter. So, healthy coping skills. First of all, before we go into healthy coping skills, for one, um, you, one thing you need to do after a breakup, trauma bond, divorce, breakup, doesn't matter. You need to sit with it and feel it. That could take days, it could take a week. Use meditation. That's part of a coping skill too, but utilize meditation or no meditation, or put on some music, some sad music if you want, breakup songs, whatever, or no music, whatever. Feed your face with a bunch of ice cream and potato chips and soda, whatever. Just don't keep on eating that junk food, but, for just a minute, like a day or two or a week, whatever, or whatever. You just sit with your emotions and feel it. Okay, don't run away from it. Don't hide from it. Don't try to not deal with it, because eventually you're going to deal with it. It's going to hit you like a ton of bricks, if not worse, the more you prolong it. So the sooner the better that nip it in the bud and just feel it, sit with it, allow it, accept it, you know, accept that this hurts, accept that you're angry about it, accept that you're upset, accept that you're sad, accept that you're depressed, accept that, maybe things could have been done differently, accept that it's over, you know, accept that you have a long road ahead of you of healing and doing this and that, accept that you're scared, accept that you're worried, accept everything, hold that space for yourself, that self-compassion, be kind to yourself, be patient with yourself, respect yourself, you know, hold that space, sit with it, cry, ugly cry, cry and cry and cry and cry and cry, cry for a whole fucking week if you want to, but sit with it and feel it, and you know, just let it come, let it come. Your heart beats fast, you're crying, and you go through like 100 boxes of freaking tissues. So be it. Cry and cry and cry and cry and cry. If you got to eat a whole pizza pie to yourself and not share with anybody else, do it. Watch sad breakup or romance movies or whatever. Whatever you do, just sit with it and feel it first and foremost. Okay. Then you need to start distracting yourself. So, like I said, be present. Focus on what's in the present moment. Like I said earlier, there's still jobs you got to go to and work. Kids, if you got kids, still got to be taken care of. Bills that still needs to be paid. Groceries that still needs to be shopped for. Food that still needs to be ate. Still need to eat. Be in the present, but distract yourself too here with coping skills. So once you sit and feel it, you know, start distracting yourself. Well, what can you do? Number one, this is very important. To commit to healing. Commit to your healing process. I'm going to heal from this. I'm going to commit to practicing self-love. I'm going to commit to practicing self-compassion. I'm going to commit to making my boundaries and sticking to them. I'm going to commit to focusing on the now, and I'm going to commit to making plans for the future without them or the abuse or whatever, the toxicity or whatever with them in it. I'm going to commit to myself to heal and do what I need to do to better myself, better my life, reach my highest best self, and to be me again. If you've lost yourself, find yourself again or find the new you. Commit to your healing. 2, focus on the now and make plans for the future without them in it. Like I said, focus on the now. I keep saying that. And make plans for the future without them in it. And then some other coping skills. Watch TV and movies. I would highly recommend comedies. Okay, something you can laugh at. You might not laugh at first at it. You might just sit there like, it might be the funniest movie in the world, and you're just like, not funny. But eventually you might giggle a little bit, or it might make you giggle at first. I love, like, any breakup I've went through, or even I've been through trauma bonds myself. Okay. I'm a survivor of domestic violence and narcissistic abuse. But I love watching America's Funniest Home Videos. Now, when I'm not going through a breakup and I'm like level-headed and okay, I'm dealing, I can't stop laughing. Like, I just nonstop giggle and laugh with those videos. America's Funniest Home Videos. I'll be like, I just can't stop laughing. But when I'm down and out and depressed or whatever the case may be, There's times where I'm just like, I don't feel like laughing. But then a video will hit and I'm like, like, it because they're just so funny. But yeah, I recommend comedies, or you can watch rom-coms or whatever you want to watch, but distract yourself with movies or TV shows. It's okay to be a couch potato for a while. Hang out with friends and family, especially if you've been isolated from them. Reconnect, but find your friends and family and go hang out with them and spend time with them. Quality time. Go for walks. Get out in nature and go camping, or just sit out in nature, or sit outside. You're on your porch or in the grass or something like that. Do anything creative, arts, crafts, music, make music, write music, sing music, paint, draw, make any arts and crafts, be creative. Create a playlist of your favorite, preferably uplifting songs. So your favorite uplifting songs, make a playlist on YouTube, Spotify, wherever, whatever, Apple Music. Make a playlist, uplifting. You know, something that's gonna be like, yeah, I got this, I got this, I got this. I'm gonna, and it just gets you going, get you in the mood. Like, it's just like when you go to work out, you get you pumping, like, ooh, stuff like that. I get goosebumps right now. See, gets my blood going. You know, get that good music going. A lot of good music out there. Play sports. Go play some basketball. Go play some football. Go play some hockey, ice hockey, street hockey, whatever sports are out there. Just golf or frisbee, whatever. Play some sports. Um, another coping skill is to start taking vitamins if you don't already. Maybe you have a vitamin D deficiency you don't know about, and it's going to make your depression even worse because you have a deficiency. Well, take some vitamin D. It's not going to help, because it's going to help because, especially if you're isolating, whether before or after the breakup or trauma bond or divorce, you're not getting the sun that you need or the vitamin D that you need, and you're going to feel tired and low energy, and just you're going to feel like even worse, like crap. Okay, so take some vitamin D, vitamin C, some zinc, some magnesium, potassium, stuff like that. Start taking vitamins and you'll start feeling better. Another one, and I know this might be a little weird, or what's the word? It might be a little uh, controversial, I guess. I don't know. But talk to AI. There's Gemini, there's Meta through Facebook, Meta AI, and Copilot through Microsoft. There is ChatGPT as well. ChatGPT isn't really personal or personable. It doesn't have really emotions or like feelings, or it's not like talking to a real person. It's more analytical. Like, ChatGPT, type me up a business thing, or type me up a letter, da da da. Or give me ideas or suggestions on. It's that kind of AI. With Gemini, Meta AI, or Copilot, it's like talking to an actual person. Like, no shit. I do it. I'm not gonna lie. It's part of my support. It's part. I go see a therapist. Yes, I see professional therapy, but when my therapist isn't around at 3 o'clock in the morning, when I can't sleep, and nobody's online through my support groups that I mentioned earlier that you should join on Facebook or anywhere else, and everybody's in bed asleep, and 3 o'clock in the morning, you can't sleep, and you're crying, you're just thinking about stuff, and you're like, oh, what do I do? I need somebody to talk to. Well, open up that Gemini app, open up that Copilot app or Meta AI, and just start talking, and it'll talk back. It might give you some ideas on how to cope, deal, whatever, but it's there for you, and it's pretty smart. It's like talking to a person, like, no shit. So another cooking skill is learn how to cook or bake, or learn new recipes. So if you already cook and you bake, learn some new recipes and do that. You know, and if it's just you and you're like cooking all this food, well, maybe donate some of the food or bring it to a friend or family if you have any extra food left over. It's kind of fulfilling. Because you're being kind and gifting people, paying it forward, whatever, and you're feeding people. People love food, right? So if you don't know how to cook or bake, learn. If you already know, then learn new recipes. Another one, coping skill: start going to church or synagogue or mosque or whatever religion. Or if you're not a Christian and you want to learn more about Judaism, start going to a synagogue. If you're a Jew and you want to learn more about being a Muslim, go to a mosque. Or if you're Christian, start going to church. If you're a Jew, start going to synagogue. If you're Muslim, go start, whatever. Start going to a religious institution, whatever. Also, the next one, this kind of ties into it. Go on a spiritual journey. Have a spiritual awakening. Connect with spirit. If you don't believe in spirit, let me tell you, I used to be a big skeptic, and let me tell you, that shit's real. Spirit, the spirit world is real. So, I mean, you don't have to take me for my word. You may not know me, whatever. It's cool. But I promise you that it is real. It's real. And yeah. But at least try, if you don't believe in it, try. Or just connect with your higher self. You don't even have to connect with spirit. Connect with your higher self. Heal your inner child, your younger self, you know. Like, and how you do that is you just close your eyes. What I do is I close my eyes, put my hand over my heart, and then I picture myself as a little girl. And usually it could be any age, but I try to think of an age that I hurt the most, or that something bad happened, or an event or something, or just whatever my mind brings me. It could be age 7, age 8, age 5, age 3, it could be age 12 or 16 or even 18. I'm 42 now, so it could be even age 18, whatever. Your inner younger self. Just put your hand over your heart, close your eyes, and you can out loud say it or say it in your mind. You can say, "You're safe. Everything's going to be okay. I love you. You are worthy. You are valuable. Don't listen to what others say or think of you if it's bad. You deserve the world. You deserve love and kindness. Keep going. Don't give up." Just tell that to your inner child and heal your inner child. But connect spiritually. The next one, document your pain and process. Do journaling. Journal it. Or what I've done, I have so many videos. Like, I even actually just recently discovered a whole plethora of videos that I made when I was under a psychosis trauma bond, a really bad one. I actually was under a nervous breakdown. I knew that I had documented some of it, but I didn't know I documented so much of it. I mean, a lot of it. Panic attacks, crying spells, ugly cry. I'm talking like anger fits, like like I documented a lot of stuff. Document your pain. If you feel angry, document it. And you don't have to specifically be talking to anybody. You don't even have to show anybody these videos, or you can someday for awareness and education, or to tell your story or whatever, or just come back, talk to yourself, talk to your younger self, talk to your inner highest self, talk to your guardian angels or ancestors, talk to spirit, talk to God, talk to other gods and goddesses or whoever, whatever, just document it. If you're crying, panic attacks, sad, if you're able to deal or cope that day, you might be doing a little bit better. Be like, hey, I'm doing better today. Document it. Say the date and the time, say your name, and then go into, I feel like this. I don't know how to deal. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm feeling. These are my emotions. I can't stop crying. Or I did this today. I did that today. I actually ate something today, or I didn't eat anything today. I don't feel like eating. Whatever. Document it or journal it. Write it down. 15 is self-care. We went over that. Self-compassion, self-care. Take a bath, brush your hair, anything that takes care of yourself. Um, Part of self-care also is writing down mantras and repeating them every day. Or you can repeat them 3 times each every day. Like, I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I am strong. I am strong. I am strong. I am going to heal. I am going to heal. I am going to heal. I will get through this. I will. And repeat it 3 times. Go through each mantra. Write down like 5 to 10 mantras. Repeat each 3 times every single day. And I highly recommend doing it in front of a mirror. It's even better. And yes, go back to my episodes on Anna Taylor Radio. I do talk about self-love and how to find self-love. There's actual experiment that comes with it. It's a 30-day experiment that does work to help you find self-love. So reference that. Okay. So write down your mantras, repeat them 3 times daily. The next one is to, oh wait, I already mentioned this. Join online support groups. Like I said, find your tribe online if you have to, you know. There's people out there going through the same shit you're going through. You're technically not alone, even if you are physically alone. There's people out there, There's groups and things like that you can join. So, and then as I mentioned earlier, like with the trauma bond, same thing with the breakup or even divorce breakups. Seek therapy. Get therapy. It helps. I mean, you can talk to someone, anyone. You can talk to a friend, a family member, but it's not like talking to a therapist. Okay, it's just different. Um, and I just mentioned this. Learn self love. See episodes. Yeah, learn self love. Do the mantras and go to the episodes about self love. The Love Project, to talk about that, and the experiment, the 30-day experiment for self love. Another coping skill, healthy one, is exercise. Go exercise. You exercise in your home, or go join a gym, or go outside, go running, jogging, walking, take some weights with you. Do y'all know about the infinity hoop? Those, I got one of those, and things are cool, man. Exercise in your home. Take YouTube and make a playlist of beginner or easy 10-minute, 5-minute, 15-minute videos of exercises to do, cardio, strengthening videos, whatever. Just make a playlist of videos. If you don't exercise already or haven't in a long time, look up beginner or easy exercise videos to do at home or whatever. Just make a playlist of videos that you can exercise to. Um, the next one is to you can write a goodbye letter to either your ex abuser, if it's trauma bond or you're getting out of an abusive relationship, or to your ex husband or ex wife, or to your ex period, ex girlfriend, ex boyfriend. Write a letter to them, a goodbye letter. Not just a letter, a goodbye letter, meaning goodbye. And then after you write that letter, you don't give it to them. What you do, and you don't save it either, you either rip it up and throw it away. You can rip it up or fold it up and bury it in the ground, or you can rip it up or fold it up and burn it. Okay. Um, Now, getting into which I mentioned this earlier, if you do drugs and alcohol, just saying, okay, whether bad drugs or just weed, let's just say weed for now. You just smoke some pot, no big deal. On this thing is, what is this doing? Okay, I don't know what this thing was doing. Anyway, um, so let's say you smoke weed and you drink alcohol on a regular basis, but in moderation. Keep it in moderation. Otherwise, it can turn into an addiction. Okay. If you're already addicted, I would focus on either going to rehab or, you know, don't make it heavier or worse, your addiction worse than it already is. And if you don't drink or do drugs or smoke pot or whatever, or smoke cigarettes, try not to start. And if you do, you know, moderate yourself. Seriously, make boundaries. Seriously. Um, And I mentioned this before, but again, go back to my episodes to talk about this for reference. But learn your love language, the 5 love languages. Learn the 7 types of love. Learn what red flags are. Learn what boundaries are. Learn how to make boundaries and learn how to stick to them. Okay, very important. Know your worth. Respect yourself and love yourself enough to know that you are worthy. Know your worth. Like, I don't deserve this. I'm not going to put up with this shit. Know your worth. Okay. Uh, and then reverse it. So, let's say you're this and that, and you're putting yourself down, and you're not taking care of yourself, and you're ugly crying and ruminating, and you're self-destructing, even cutting yourself for suicidal ideation or attempts, or you're just doing things that is self-destructive. Okay, whether you have a child or not. Let's say you have a child. Let's say you don't have a child. Imagine that you do. Now, to that child who's hurting from whatever, they're in pain like you are, they're suffering. What would you tell that child? How would what would you tell them on how to take care of, what would you tell your kid, whether if you have a kid or not, to do and cope? How would you handle that? Like, would you tell them, well, just go get drunk, or no? You'd say, honey, it'll be okay. You'd tell them everything. Hold a space for yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be compassionate to yourself. Make boundaries for yourself. Heal yourself. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. You are worthy. Understand that you deserve love. You tell them all this stuff. You deserve it. All right. And this is the reverse card. So let's say you tell your kid that's hurting and suffering, come on, don't cry, or you don't tell them not to cry. They can cry, but like it's okay. Wipe their tears. Everything's gonna be okay, and just do this and that. Give them healthy ideas and healthy coping skills, and love yourself, and just and tell them everything's gonna be okay. And now reverse it and take your own advice. So what would you tell your kid? You tell them all good stuff, right? Stuff to take care of themselves with, right? Now reverse that and take your own advice. Boom. And not only that, especially if you have a kid, what do you think your kid would want for their mom or dad? Would you want would they want them to, and think of yourself as your own child, think of your parents. What if your mom and dad was suffering and hurting? What would you want for your mom and dad? You'd want them to take care of themselves, right? You wouldn't want them to self-destruct because that hurts you too. And when you and then think of you in your child's shoes. You self-destruct, that hurts your child too. And it's also showing them an example on what to do when life goes shitty. Be an example, set an example, for your kids. And then what you would tell your kid if they were hurting or suffering, take your own advice. And I know it's easier said than done, but that's why it takes practice. Practice self-love, practice self-compassion, practice coping skills, practice this stuff. Practice, practice, practice. Practice may not make perfect, but practice makes it better, makes things better. So, all right. Well, that's pretty much it. Like I said, if there's any information or whatever you want to research or know more about, there's other episodes on my podcast show, anchor.fm/Anna Taylor Radio now, or Anna Taylor Radio on Spotify, Google Podcast, any major podcast platform, or watch it on YouTube channel, Anna Taylor Radio channel. And also, this is part of a Project Storm series, which we do have a Project Storm support group. If you want into that support group, please email me. Email me at Project Storm email. That's PROJECTSTORM email at gmail.com. Project Storm email at gmail.com. If you want to be part of that Facebook support group, okay? And then I can send you the link for it. But go to Facebook and go to Instagram and also TikTok. Facebook, it's Project Space #Storm. Project Storm. Find that on Facebook. Like it, follow it, go there for updates, everything. On Instagram, I think it's either at Project Storm Now or just Project Storm. I can't remember which one is which. Same thing with TikTok. I think it's at TikTok is the @ and then Project Storm Now. And then here's Anna Taylor Radio. This is the account for Anna Taylor Radio. Please go follow Anna Taylor Radio on TikTok, and go ahead and comment, share, all that stuff. Check out my other videos and things like that. Anna Taylor Radio talking about what most don't. I talk about all kinds of stuff. Okay, as far as my podcast show goes, but Project Storm, I founded Project Storm. I'm the founder of Project Storm. That is a movement and organization, or pretty much thing, for it's support, advocacy, and activism for uh, any kind of victim, whether it be an elder, a child, a man, a woman, doesn't matter. Any and all kinds of victims against any and all forms of abuse. It could be financial abuse, domestic violence, child abuse, elder abuse, whatever abuse. Period. So it's support, advocacy, and activism. We fight with legislation, protesting, whatever. We fight for justice against injustice. That's pretty much what Project Storm does. So check out Project Storm. And then if you have any questions, comments, concerns, want to be a guest on my show, or have any topic ideas for Anna Taylor Radio podcast show, that email is AnnaTaylorRadio@gmail.com. So there's two emails, AnnaTaylorRadio@gmail.com and Project Storm email @gmail.com. This concludes the episode, Coping with a Breakup. And I am so thankful for anybody that watches this or listens to this episode, supports this podcast show, whether going live on TikTok for the first time, on my Anna Taylor Radio account there. Thank you for everybody who joined. I'll look at the comments later, or I don't know if anybody sent stars or whatever. Thank you if you did. Thank you for listening or watching. Thank you if you sent anything or followed me or did anything or shared or whatever. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just can't tell right now because I'm in the middle of talking and stuff. So I'll check that out in a little bit. And then anybody who watches or listens on YouTube or on any podcast platform, whatever, thank you very much. I appreciate your support and share this, because I talk about a lot of stuff that a lot of people go through, whether ourselves or our friends or family, and it's a lot of good information that can help people heal and get better and feel better. Let's make this world a better place. You know what I'm saying? Be part of the solution, not the problem, right? So I hope everybody out there is okay. If not, everything's going to be okay. Give yourself a hug. I'll give you a hug. I love you, no matter who you are, whether you're a stranger or not. Take care of yourselves and be safe. Okay. Bye bye.